Hello there.
Hey guys, welcome back to Sabers Forever. I'm John, and today we're going to be going over the Romans Inception again. Why? Well, this one's a NeoPixel. It's also a Goth master chassis, so that's really exciting. And honestly, I've decked it out with a bunch of NeoPixels inside, and I'm just chomping at the bit to show it off. So without further ado, let's just jump right in and I'll show you what's going on. Alright, so this is the Romans Inception. Unfortunately, these are no longer available, or rather readily available. I'm not sure what the production timeline on these looks like, if there will be any more, but this was a commission that came to me already installed with some basic chassis components. Honestly, not a terrible install at all. But not what the owner was looking for. So whatever was done to this saber before I got it, it was already done, and I had to just work with what I had and make this master Goth chassis work, which I did, and it turned out amazing. So there are a few like aesthetically displeasing dings here and there, especially on, where did I put it? Oh, especially on the blade plug. I actually machined the top because there was some really gnarly bite into the top of this that just was way too bad, and I didn't want to mess with the dimensions of this at all. I just skim cut the top. And then there was some various other modifications that I had to do, and the pommel, I was almost able to get it to sit properly, so it tightens right there. But for display purposes, you could just, put that hard 90 on there, back wind it a little bit. But this, you undo this right now. There's no power to the saber, and this is your power, and this is your auxiliary. But you would basically open this up. Remember, this is nylon, so just kind of baby a little bit. But you have these little dots down here. If you pull it out as far as the second set, you're good. It locks, and it gets some support from these brass rods right here. But you have your recharge port, and you have your on-off switch. And your Proffieboard is, for all intents and purposes, it is in here permanently like this. It can be cut out or, popped out, but these brass rods would need to be removed, and then you would have to pop the chassis or the soundboard up, the Proffieboard V2.2. So I loaded this, I reprogrammed the board, but this is the board that came with the saber, and I left the fonts that were on it, which were mostly Obi-Wan fonts, so I'm sure that the owner will be really happy with that. But I also added in some NeoPixels. There's 5 NeoPixels down here that on some fonts it acts as like a little turbine, and other fonts it just kind of like pulses or has a light rotation animation going on. And some other things to note is that the threads for the top, or for here, are normally meant to be, all the threads are meant to be secured within this activation section, and they were secured to the top here, so I actually had to machine a custom aluminum sleeve to stabilize the chassis up here for the crystal reveal. And this has a Goth Eco NPXL along with the female side in the grenade section, and then a V3 for the top emitter. So the reason for this is to just reduce battery drain. There's only 5 versus here there's math. There's like 16, I think. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's a lot. Anyways, this has a lot less draw than this does. And there's also 2 NeoPixels above each of these crystals right here. So in order to turn the saber on, you would just flip this switch up.
So uncivilized.
And I have it start on Bold 1 by Kyberphonic, which is what I'll demonstrate the saber on mostly. But you get this nice deep sky blue crystal, and then the NPXL lights up, and you get your little turbine here at the bottom, which slowly starts to wind up as the saber is on, and then it stabilizes, and when you move it, it kind of turns white. And as you turn it, when you turn it off, it actually has like a wind down time, which you can see it spinning down like that. Some other fonts real quick.
I see you've missed me. Master Qui-Gon.
So you can see here now it's just pulsing blue along with the crystal.
Darth Vader.
You get the blue crystals and the red starts to, come in. One of my favorites. And then even with the emitter on, just tighten this as much as it'll go until it stops, and then when you close the pommel, don't twist it and push it on. I know that seems like it would help, but for the stability of the chassis and it being the material that it is, just push forward like that. It's a very tight fit. It's meant to just kind of be able to be displayed open like that as well. But
battery level.
I will do what I must.
so basic functions of the saber are power on, tap off for power off. While the blade is on, if you tap the auxiliary, you'll get blasters. If you collide the saber when you're holding the power, you'll get lockup. If you hold the auxiliary and tap the power, you'll go into color change mode, which you get that beeping sound. And when you twist it, it'll change to whatever color you want. It won't remember the color selection if you turn the saber off.
Hello there.
Go to the next font. Let's go backwards. If you hold it upside down and hit auxiliary,
I will do what I must.
it goes backwards in fonts. Any other direction, it'll just go forward when you tap auxiliary. But it won't remember that color, even if I were to go to the next font like I did and then come back. I know I didn't set it to a different color, but that is the default color of this font. And that'll happen for all the other fonts. Along with, if you turn the saber off, with the kill switch, and turn it back on, it'll default back to bold 1, so it'll always be that first default font. You can also play music by holding the power for 1 second and releasing. You can use the saber still. Nice thing is you can actually see inside there. Let me turn this off real quick. You can see the lighting in here through the speaker vents. And lights. Stop the music by holding the power for 1 second and releasing. Each font has its own music. So, Battle of Heroes. So, there's a ton of commands for this saber. You have gesture controls. So if you pull it down real hard, it'll turn on the saber, and it actually activates it into battle mode. So when you clash the saber, wherever it is lined up, if you move it away from the point that it collided, it'll stop locking up. So clashes lock up, and then stop when you move it away. Same with stabs. You could do it with floor drag and stuff like that. To turn the saber off without using a button, just twist the saber in one direction and then back to the resting point. So that'll turn it off and then on. off. When you're using the gestures, as I said, it is in battle mode. So those those buttonless commands will be activated. Another cool thing is if you hold the the auxiliary button for 1 second while the blade is on, it puts it into blaster deflection mode. So normally you just get accent swings, but hold this for 1 second. You'll get a blaster, but now you'll get blasters on accent swings instead. And you can stop it by either turning the saber off and on, or you can just do a regular blaster block, and then it'll negate the blaster mode. So that basically does it. When this saber does not have deep sleep, so when you're done using it, just open it up, turn it off, close it back up, and you're good to go. The recharge port, obviously you have to leave this open, but you would just plug it in. The charger actually, it'll come in a box like this, and it'll happen to look just like this. But the light here will turn red when it's charging and green when it's fully charged. So it doesn't really get any easier than that. Don't got to take batteries out or nothing. Downside to that is you don't have access to fresh batteries on the fly. So one other thing is the blade that I made for the saber. It has a recessed connection, and these parts are all threaded in. So this is a separate part from that, and this from that. So this is all one piece. This brass, this different colors, separate from these two, and the emitter separate from there, and it's all held in by this cap or the plug right here. So when you're putting your blade in, always go counterclockwise when you're putting it in and taking it out. So what that means is, I want to put this down. You want to put it in so you're rotating it in this way and then rotating it out the same way. And what that's doing is it's making sure that the threads are always being turned into themselves. So this would just go in like that. So what I'm doing is take it out, put it in. And it should be a really clean fit. It shouldn't give you any effort, and if it is, it's because your blade retention screw is bulging out on the inside. So that just goes in, press fit, and then tighten your blade retention screw while you're holding it, connected, and then your blade is good to go. So there you have it. Yeah, I turned it off good. The Roman's Inception. Alright guys, that does it for this video. If you like what you see and you want to see more, make sure to like and subscribe. It really helps a lot. There's going to be more content coming in the future, so you're not going to want to miss out on that. And I guess until I see you on the next video, as always, may the Force be with you.